Well, hello, and a very happy Saturday to all of my cruisers out there. Um, the Controversy Cast is back. I am sorry for the long pause and the 3 or 4 week break, but we are back. I found some really spicy, controversial topics for you guys, and I am glad to be here today for this 30-minute podcast. We're going to go over a few topics, have some coffee, and I'm going to share my coffee mug. But before we do, let's see who has come in and say good morning to some people before we start our podcast. Mr. Buddy Biggs was in here first this morning. Scotty Boombalati. Actually, funny story about that, buddy. One of my friends. I went to school in Massachusetts, college in Massachusetts. One of my good friends who talked to several times a week. His name is Frank. He actually calls me Scotty Boombalati, and he is from Massachusetts. Danny D is here. Good morning, Danny D. Bow checka wow wow. Eddie is here. Boom baladi, lol. Right? Isn't that? I like that. I like that. You guys could call me that if you want. Eddie, good morning. Good morning to you and Alice. Scotty J Travels is here. Says whoop whoop. I'm here for it. I know he is at work. Thank you for coming in while you're at work. Orange Cone Vlog. Ross is here. Good morning, Ross. Welcome in. Says sup beaches. Tanya, I hope you are safe. I'm glad you are here, but definitely hope you are safe from that. That is definitely scary. Let's see. She said we are fine. It was at 1.4. Still, wow. My first time experiencing it, I thought it was a dream. I would have think it was a dream too. I don't think I've ever experienced one. That's crazy. I'm glad you're safe. Let's see. And right, an earthquake in Atlanta. Who thinks about that? Cruise Life TV is here. Good morning, Scott, Tanya, Eddie, and Danny D, the spectacular supporter. Good morning there, Greg. He is saying good morning to everyone. TJ's Destinations is here. Hello, TJ. Welcome in. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. My good friend Mona is here. Good morning, Scott. Good morning to you. Happy Saturday. Thank you for joining in on the podcast. There is the beautiful Miss Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl. Cruising is fun anytime. Good morning. Happy Saturday. And Jeremy, if you are there, happy Saturday to you guys. Baminola is here. Scott, the real captain. The real captain is here. That's right. I don't have a long paragraph message like Captain Billy, but the real captain is here. Let's see. Good morning, Mandy Smith. Mandy Smith is here. Hi, everyone. Hello, hello. Happy to see you. My good friend Foodie's Adventures, Vicky. Hello, Vicky. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you are having a great weekend. Ron is here. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. I hope you and Darlene are having a good Saturday, a good weekend. All right. And I think I've made it all the way down to the bottom of the chat. I hope you guys are all having an amazing kick to the Saturday. I am glad to be back here on the podcast, this 30-minute podcast where we're going to go over a couple controversial topics. But before we do that, I have a very special mug to share. Thank you, Coco, for waking up early with us. I have a very special mug to share here on this edition of the Mug Shots. So we'll dance a little bit. So this is the part of the show where I am going to share a mug with you. Normally it is a creator's mug. The last mug that I shared with you was Carnival Cruise Addicts. I am a member of their channel and they actually gifted a mug for being a member. So I shared that one. It was a few weeks ago. I know I haven't been here in a month. But this week, I don't have a creator mug to share, but from Liz from Carnival Cruise Addicts, we were at Amber Cove together, and we went to this wonderful coffee shop. If you have watched the vlog or you are a watcher of the vlog, you know that I had gotten some of this coffee. I shared with you on that vlog why that coffee was actually as good as it was, because they tell the story and they tell you exactly the elevation and everything about the coffee. I am a coffee aficionado. I love coffee, and I got myself a pound. and Liz bought me this wonderful coffee mug from El Staballo. So thank you very much, Liz. And go and check that. This is like a shameless plug. Go check that vlog out, because that vlog was very funny. People sat on people's laps on the way back. I mean, you had some bonus footage there. It was amazing. So as Jimmy says, best sip of the day. And let's take a sip of coffee or juice or whatever you're drinking out there. Oh, that's hot coffee. I love it. I love it. It is not actually this coffee that I'm drinking. I'm out, but I'm crazy. I saved the cool one, so don't come at me. All right, let's see here. Let's get to the bottom of the chat, and then we are going to start the podcast. Make sure nobody else has come on in. Yes, there is Coco. The most controversial thing I'm willing to talk about on YouTube is pineapple on pizza. Well, there is definitely a controversial topic for you for sure. I love pineapple on pizza. So let's see here. Just like Kenny, I finished microwaving my coffee from yesterday, making a fresh pot now. Okay, well, let's start those topics then. As you all start a fresh cup of coffee and a fresh pot of coffee, this one, I know there's going to be sides from every angle on this topic. And as I was reading this, I was kind of thinking in my head, but Royal Caribbean cruisers in particular, this started kind of on Reddit, but Royal Caribbean cruisers share an important way to improve cruising. Okay. So for as long as I can remember, and as long as you can remember, okay, the cruise industry has been focused on this guest-centric forward approach to cruising. Okay. Almost like the customer is always right, right? You've heard that the customer is always right. Now, don't get me wrong. We love our crew members, right? And our crew members love our guests, right? I've made friends with many, many crew members over the years, but as of lately, right, with social media and the cruise industry kind of booming, the crew members are kind of in a weird spot, right? Because there are rude cruisers out there, and there are cruisers that like to, let's just say, bend the rules for themselves or think that they are above the law. Okay. For many different reasons, let's say chair hogging, let's just say letting their kids run around in the solarium or let their kids run around in the Serenity decks, whatever it may be. Right. And most of the time now, what we're seeing, and I don't know, I've seen this, and the Royal Caribbean cruisers shared this on Reddit, and I've also seen people on NCL that shared this, people on Carnival share this, that kind of now the crew members are sort of kind of turning a blind eye to this bad behavior, let's just say, right? This bad behavior by the guest, because they don't want to upset any guest, right? Because the guest could either write a negative review, the guest could take a video and send it to John, right? So this kind of guest-centric forward thought of the way of the cruise industry, right? A lot of cruisers are saying this is kind of ruining other cruisers' experiences, right? Letting the bad behavior kind of trickle in and kind of rewarding, right? Rewarding this bad behavior by letting them do it, right? Or not recognizing that this is a wrong behavior, right? Even though we don't have to yell at anybody, we don't have to, right? There is nice, polite ways to say, ma'am, your kid is under 18. They cannot be in the solarium, or we can't share 18 deck chairs. I'm sorry. You can have one next to you and that's it, right? But the cruise members, the crew members now are even scared to do that because they don't want to upset any guest. And they don't want to have any negative reviews, like I said. So I think this back and forth between the guest-centric forward way of the cruise companies, right? And it's all of them except one. And I'm gonna mention one. And some of you might have even cruised on this cruise line before. It's kind of ruining, in a way, the good cruisers' experiences, and those who kind of follow the rules and those who kind of keep to themselves, or aren't letting any of the mischievous behavior, any of the rude behaviors affect any of the other cruisers. So I just kind of thought that this was a little crazy. And honestly, the only cruise company, and I have never ever cruised on this cruise line before, but Virgin Voyages have been among the only cruise company to have the philosophy to put their employees, right, the crew members, first before the guest, right? And that doesn't mean that you go on there and the guests are rude or the crew members are rude to the guests, right? That's not it, right? But it's the thought that the employees are what is fueling, right, the positive energy for the workers, right? That then pass on to the guests, that then pass on to other guests. Right. And I've never sailed on Virgin. I know Chet loves Virgin. I know there's so many YFC has sailed on Virgin. There's so many other people that have sailed on Virgin. And I'm definitely willing to try it. But this for me, right, is kind of eye-opening. This is kind of the first time that I've seen it, right? We've all seen it. We have all seen it. We've all seen bad behavior be allowed on cruise ships. And the crew members kind of turned a blind eye, right? And the complaints kind of started on Reddit. One lady said, I went up to several guests, several crew members to complain about other guests about doing other things, right, that were actually wrong. That's not, you're just not complaining, not being Karen. You're actually saying this is wrong behavior. And they didn't do anything about it, right? And it was people with stripes and all that other stuff. She didn't name anybody, right? But she's saying if we're going up to crew members and saying this needs to be addressed and it's not being addressed because the crew members don't want to upset other guests, it's just a whirlwind and a spiral, right? For me, it's just a whirlwind and a spiral. So let me get back in. I know there's a ton of people that have come in. I got a little passionate about it. I'm sorry. So let me know what you guys think about the guest centric forward thinking for all the other cruise companies except for Virgin, and if this is something that should change in the cruise industry, if we should all make this change together, right? It starts somewhere. I don't know, but it starts somewhere. And the fighting and all the other stuff that have kind of gone on in the cruise industry too now, it's crazy. It's crazy where the guests feel just so entitled to, I don't know, whatever they feel entitled. Okay, let's see. Let me figure out where I was. Fresh pot of coffee. Okay, here we go. They said the customers are always right, but my mechanic won't let me tickle it, buddy. It's a cruise. Life is here. Hello, Pete and Lisa. Good morning to you. Good morning. My aunt is here, Aunt June and Uncle Brady. Hello, welcome in, guys. Travel, yes, we see. Welcome in. Happy Saturday to you guys. Najuma Brown has also joined us on the podcast. Happy Saturday to you. Let's see. Ron says, if you take care of the people who take care of you, you will be fine. Entitled guests seem to be the big issue. Yes, and that's what it was. I mean, there have been multiple occasions that you've seen, I have seen, where there was bad behavior that like was almost rewarded, right? If you let bad behavior be rewarded, it's going to continue, right? And yes, you can say there are rules in place, but if you don't enforce them, then what? Right? Because there is now on Carnival, there's a chair hogging rule or something like that. You can't put your towel over. I don't know exactly what it is because I don't sit out and lay out, but whatever the rule is, there is a rule in place, but they're being very lax about that rule, right? Almost to where there is no rule. It's just on paper, right? So nobody can say that there's no rule in place, right? It's just like, it's kind of like a loose rule. It's like, why is it there if you're not enforcing it? Well, we don't want to upset any other guests because then they'll go down to guest services and make a negative review about the whole ship. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, I've never cruised like that and I never will cruise like that. But I do know rewarding the bad behavior continues more bad behavior. And with that said, I will definitely cruise on Virgin too. This has piqued my ears up about Virgin for sure. A Cruise Life says, I have sailed Virgin. We've sailed Virgin. Oh, that's right. You guys have sailed Virgin. I mean, do you guys Do you guys experience this? They also say the crew just seems so much more happy, right? Just in general on Virgin. Now, I don't know if that's just them saying that or if that's true, but you can tell when somebody is obviously happy and when somebody's, trying to fake through their happiness, right? So they say that the crew members, because they treat them really, really well on Virgin, again, that employee first, that crew member first, kind of transfers over. So I don't know. Let's see. Have we heard from Chet yet? No, this is his cruise day. I think he is. This is his travel day, I believe. I believe this is travel day. Hello, Destinations Delight, Miss Crystal. Welcome in. Happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday to you. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic here that we have. Pete said, I think the whole vibe on Virgin is much more relaxed. It's almost anything goes, and 99% of people are happy with that. Right. Exactly. 99% of people. Yep. The vibe, right? It's the vibe that starts with the crew, that goes to the guest, and then just the whole ship, right? But again, right, that whole vibe, if that vibe is rewarding that bad behavior, right now you can see how it's starting to be contagious through the different cruise lines, right? Royal Caribbean has gone to Reddit. I've seen it on Carnival, right? The whole towel thing is why the whole thing started, but we have the whole rule because people were fighting over saving chairs for people, right? No, Aunt Linda is coming in 4 hours and she needs a chair. Aunt Linda is playing dancing drums in the casino right now. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's rewarding the ones acting up. It's more like rule number 1, de-escalate. Yeah. But they don't even want to do that, right? They don't even want to get into situations where they have to de-escalate, right? They'd rather just turn the blind eye and say, it's not my problem, right? The crew members are like, it's not my problem. You're not paying me enough. It's not my problem. Where on Virgin, they're like, you are paying me enough. It is my problem. And we're going to work through this, right? We're adults. We're adults. We're all adults in the room, right? I know they're an adult only line, but it's still, we're that mentality of we're adults in the room. We're going to work through this. Okay. Virgin Voyage crew is oh, that's right. Tanya's gone too. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Virgin Voyage crew is much more happy and authentic. There's a word for you. Thank you, Tanya. It transfers to the guest. I like Virgin. I want to sail on Virgin. I know when you get that sticker shock when you look at the price, but everything there is included. So I am that vibe type of person, as you guys can tell. So yeah, Virgin is tickling me for sure. I think he said maybe he'll tell us when he gets there. That's right. With the stream, he might do a little pop up or something like that. Chat, I would love that. Let's see. Well, that's what I meant by de-escalate. Okay. At resorts, they just remove towel when there's no activity, right? Right? There's no activity. But again, normally there's people sitting there. So wait, no, that's my Aunt Linda's towel. She's coming now. And she's not coming for like 4 hours. Okay. I'm sorry if you have an Aunt Linda, but no. Leave it to the pros like the security team, but they're not even doing anything, Greg, right? They're turning blind eyes to things too, right? Except for obviously the marijuana and all that other stuff, like the bigger issues and the fighting, right? But there's more of that, right? How many fights have we seen over the cruise industries and in the cruise ports and all? Oh my God, over the last 3 months, forget about it. So forget about it. I heard a rumor that Carnival was going to add a dog to their ships to detect that no one. Okay, so it's not a dog, but okay, so it's not really a rumor, and it's not really a dog. It's actually a person who would be hired to be a. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like a detective, but it is like an alcohol like mitigator. So if you seem overly drunk, they can cut you off. So yes, it is like a security officer under the alcohol policy rules. But yes, that is um rumored to come into effect and actually start in the busier cruise ports, the more spring breakier cruise ports, the more busier cruise ports first, and then go fleet wide. So Look, rules are in place for safety, wellness, and more. If you want to be entitled, you deserve to be called out. Yeah. And if it needs to be embarrassed because you need to make a donkey of yourself, right? But again, right, all the crew members, most of these that are guest centric, are scared to do so. They just would rather turn the eye than make the paperwork, make the issue, like be on social media, be on TikTok, like forget about it, right? Everyone's pulling their phones out, everyone's trying to record everybody. An alcohol sniffer. uh, has uh, has the development of the fights become the buzz of the word? Have they been happening all along, or we've just been seeing them now, or is it an attention thing? You know, obviously, I think it's a little bit of both. I think the as yeah, obviously as the times are now, right? The world is obviously becoming a little bit more of an angrier place, right? So things people are becoming a little bit more temperamental, whether it's cruisers or non-cruisers. And obviously, right, the media is flooding to these stories to gain coverage. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think they have been happening, Ron, but I think they're happening actually more now than they were in the past. Definitely, um, not by leaps and bounds, but I think it's definitely happening more now. We saw them place a note on the chair after they placed a note. Wait, we saw them place the note on the chair after they placed a note on the chair. The guy next to it removed the note and tossed it. Oh my God. See, that's what I mean. The Cam fam. Hello, the Cam fam. Welcome in. Happy Saturday to you. Yes, alcohol monitor. Right. Exactly. Thank you. Alcohol monitor, like a hall monitor, but like kind of like undercover. Like he's there, they're there, she's there, but you don't know, kind of thing. Right. And if you're acting a fool, you could get brought back to your room, apparently, like a extension kind of like of security, but obviously security will handle some other things and obviously be backup. But this person is, I think they've said, would be in like regular street clothes, so you wouldn't know that they weren't a guest. Let's see here. Texas Cruiser, good morning, Texas Cruiser. Welcome in, welcome in. Yeah, I think everybody, right? If you're a cruiser or not, I think this has been the talk of the internet, honestly. If you open up and even type in cruise, then maybe the consequences aren't greater than the reward. Just my thought, right? Exactly, exactly. Good morning. I bring it every day. Hello, Kelly. Welcome in. Welcome in. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. I know that one got a little bit long, but it's just times are a little crazy. Have been a little crazy. So I believe people have been sheltered by customizing their life experience instead of going through things, perfectly said, naturally, and learning how to cope and hope and learn how to cope and deal. There you go. I want to say it again: cope and deal with those matters, right? No matter how long it takes to cope and deal with those matters. Very, very nicely said. I am starring that, Tanya. Perfectly, perfectly said. All right. So let's move on to the second topic. And this one is near and dear to my heart because this is a port that I went to and that I have visited last year. And luckily, I was able to cruise there last year before this happened. Hawaii is introducing a new 11% passenger tax for visiting and docking in Hawaii. Okay. In 2024, I was one of the 1 million cruise passengers to go to Hawaii and sail to Hawaii without a tax. Now, there are many cruise ports that are doing this. Okay. Mexico, Alaska is thinking about doing it. Hawaii is doing it. Okay. And there are going to be more and more and more cruise ports that are popping up with tariffs and taxes, okay, to visit and dock in their ports. Okay, this is past 110%, but it will be an 11%, okay, fee of the prorated fare, cruise fare for the days docked, which is insane. Which is insane because Hawaii is already expensive and they know that they're expensive, right? And it's due to having to freight a lot of the things that are there and import a lot of the things that come to Hawaii, right? There are a lot of things that come from Hawaii, but things that they have to get into Hawaii, it costs a lot of money, right? And now 11% on your prorated cruise fare is going to be astronomical. So again, I am so glad that I was one of the 1 million to already cruise to Hawaii. Doesn't say that I'm not going to, but 11% is insane. Okay. And I know Mexico is also putting in a tax and a tariff too. And like I said, Alaska is also doing this. And it's not just a tax and a tariff. Okay. We think tax and tariff, but this is so to say to level the playing field and make sure all of the cruise passengers, right, are contributing to the wildlife, contributing to nature projects, right? Contributing to infrastructure, in contributing to keeping up the roads and all of that, right? That we don't really think about because we're there for 2 days or 1 day or whatever, and then we leave. Right. But there are a lot of things that make up these beautiful places like Hawaii and Alaska and even Mexico. Okay. That we don't think about. So I'm not saying I'm not in favor of the tax or tariff. Right. I think 11% is really, really high. And I don't know what Alaska is going to be. I I hope it's under 11% because I definitely am going to Alaska again. But these places are places that have so much nature and we don't think about it. And there's so many nature projects that are going on and preservation projects that are going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Okay. And things that are actually we might not be able to see. Or example, the Mendenhall Glacier, right? If we keep on visiting it and we keep extending it, right? And it keeps eroding, it's not going to be there, right? In 2027, 2028, 20, right? And all these glaciers and all these wildlife preservations that we are going now to skirt to when we go to Alaska, they're not going to be there, right? If we don't put some dollars into it and help them, right? Because Alaska can only put in so much dollars and Mexico can only put in so much dollars and Hawaii can only put in so much dollars. So I I don't know. We're gonna have to pay it. It's not controversial. The controversialness is, are you still going to really cruise to these cruise ports, right? Because now you have the okay, let's just go back to the Caribbean, or I want to go somewhere different, right? And this is where the seesaw has been in the cruise industry for the last like year, right? Between those season cruisers and even the first time cruisers, right? You go on a first time cruise to the Caribbean, now you're like, what else is next, right? It's the fastest that we've turned over to look in years, right? For years, we've been okay with just take me to the Caribbean. I don't care. Right now, it's more like let's go to Alaska, let's go to Scotland, let's go to Ireland, let's go to Greenland, let's go to Greece, let's go to right. There's people going to Greece, there's people going to Europe, there's people going to on their like sixth cruise or seventh cruise. Whereas like it took me like I don't know 30 cruises to end up going to Alaska. Thank you, no pants profits, but insane, insane. Okay, let's see here. Uh, ba, 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 ba. Ross says, look, the way I see it, taxes aren't going to change my mind about visiting a destination. Tourism takes a toll on the local area. It does, right? It does. It really does. So why not pay in order to keep the area up? Yes, 110%. Let's see here. Let me go back up. I know I missed some. Yes, 11%, right? 11% of what? The prorated cruise. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, 11% of the cost of the prorated cruise, which is insane. Hopefully it goes away by the time we can cruise there. I mean, I don't know. It might go down. I don't know if it's ever going to go away. I really don't know if it's ever going to go away. The cruise lines charge 18% of everything. Hard for them to cry foul. Yeah, hard for them to cry foul. But no, this is going to the regions itself. This is local taxes for them. I know the cruise companies tax us too for X, Y, and Z. Oh my God. Net, the cruise industry benefits a lot from the government subsidiaries. Yeah. That we don't know about. Companies. There's a lot that they don't tell you. I'm telling you, Ross. I can agree with you to that point. We are already paying something. We're already paying something to the port. So an increase in that. Yeah. Most of these brand new terminals are subsidiaries by taxpayers. Yep. 110%. Good morning, Scotty. Hello, Cruise Nuts. Welcome in. Welcome in. Happy Saturday to you and Tracy. The Cam Fam says, do you think this is why the cruise lines are doing all these private islands as they knew this was coming? I think it's a little bit of that, and I think it's a little bit of mockery too. right? I think it's a little bit of, you see your neighbor, see what your neighbor has, and then you want to do it too, bigger and better. So I think all these cruise companies out here are trying to one up themselves, right? Because there is a unique opportunity here where there are first time cruisers that are becoming repeat cruisers and they're younger, right? A lot of these are younger cruisers that are ready to hop in, 21, 22, right? Ready to hop in, and then you want to catch them, and then they become the 45, 49, 79, 89 year old cruiser, right? Who have been cruising now for 35 years, right? This is kind of like that drafting or that rebuilding period, as they call in sports. So that's what I think. I think it's a little bit of both mockery, but I also think that the private island destination is, yeah, it's it's going to catch on. Believe me, there's going to be more and more. Let's see here. Yes, they do. I can take that increase, providing it's actually used in a manner as such. Yes, to preserve the nature reserves. Yes, it may not go away. In fact, other ports may jump on board. Yeah, 110%. I can't think of a tax that has ever been rescinded. Usually a tax stays in place. Yeah, usually a tax stays in place. Forever. Forever. All right. I am all the way down to the bottom. I do apologize. I will save the next topic for the next controversy cast, but I do have to keep this to a half an hour. I do have to help my best friend move some things before he's not moving, but move some things before I go to work. So I do have to cut this to a half an hour. So I do want to thank all of you who have come in to the controversy cast for episode number 29. We have gotten some controversial topics. Obviously, we've had a lot of chit chatting back and forth. I've shared a mug with you guys, and we have had almost a pot of coffee today. So thank you very much. I will be here next week. I will be here next Saturday, and you guys will see me next week. So thank you, everybody who has come into the controversy cast. I love you guys. Make sure you do something today that makes you smile, and have a wonderful Saturday. I will see you guys later. Bye. Also, just a reminder, on Monday, in place of the Conscious Cruiser, my other podcast with Chet and Elisa, I will be doing the Rise and Shine show. Chet is on a cruise, and we also did not get to record any episodes of the Conscious Cruiser. So I will be here, probably doing this third topic, and we'll talk a little bit more about cruising. So I will see you on Monday for the Rise and Shine show. Have a good weekend. Bye, everyone.